Hello, and thank you for joining me. So today I want to give you guys a close look at the Purvis Blades Primordial. Now this was a pre-order about 3 or 4 months ago, and just was really excited about it and could not wait to get my hands on it. But I got this just before Blade Show West and have just really been enjoying it, basically breaking it in because it is a button plunge lock style lock. So more about that in just a moment, but let's just dive right into it. And also quickly want to mention that I will be disassembling this thing. I just want to see what's on the inside of this thing. But we have a beautiful clip point style blade with I guess a bidirectional satin finish. So you have the vertical satin finish on the swedge here on the clip and the bevel grind, and then you have the horizontal finish on the flats, which I think is beautiful, and you just have that really nice contrast. We have a titanium constructed knife here with I guess 2 slabs on each side being separated by a titanium back spacer and a beautifully milled pocket clip. I like that it has some character on it, and I went with this version because I liked the all blacked out hardware and the gold anode, but also heavily stone washed finish handles. I think it looks really, really good. And another thing I like about this knife is it's really light for its size. Even though it looks thick and chunky, it's heavily milled on the inside. So a very, very light knife, again, for its size. Speaking of weight, I never weighed this thing, so let's get the scale out, see if I can fit it on the camera. I'm working in kind of a tight spot here, but let's see what we got here. So we got 3.88 ounces, which again, I think is light for the size. And really quick, I just want to give you guys a quick measurement. A quick size for you guys so you have an idea. But we're looking at overall length of, let's see here, 7 7/8 inches. So just a 1/4 inch, sorry, not a 1/4 inch, but an 1/8 inch under 8 inches. Blade length looks like it's 3 3/8 of an inch. So a lot of cutting edge too. So that's one of the cool things about this knife, where it really drew me towards it, was the blade to handle ratio. I'd say it's basically cut in half. So you're getting a lot of cutting edge on this thing. And handle length, let's see here. Let's just go right. Try and knock stuff. I don't want to knock stuff over here, but we're looking at 4.5 inches. So very comfortable in hand. Going to the ergos side of this thing, very, very comfortable. You do have a very nice, I'd say pretty generous sharpening choil. The plunge line ends right about there, so you have quite a bit of a lifetime of sharpening. Not as much as Neve's knives would like, but I think it's fine. And again, ergos are really, really good. No hot spots, and you can get really close to that cutting edge, which is something I really like in a knife. It allows you to get that close. I know there is the possibility of cutting your finger, but I mean, if you're going to be using a knife, I'm pretty sure you know how to use a knife. Reverse grip is just as good. I like this angle here. Your thumb lands on it very, very comfortably. So ergos, very, very good. Now the action, I really don't like plunge or button lock, plunge lock style knives. I'm just not really a fan. I had a Kaiser fail on me once, and I just told myself never again. But Civivi is really the only ones I trust. This is the Biophase. Love this thing, but the action on this is amazing. And again, I only trust Civivi, and I think that's about it with button locks or plunge lock style knives. But this one really surprised me. I just really love the style, and I just really wanted it in my collection. So I kind of took the risk on of basically going against my own thing, my own rule to not get a plunge lock. But this works beautiful. It's very snappy. The drop shot action on this thing is really good. This blade is riding on bearings, and I don't know if I mentioned, but it is in Magna Cut steel, so you're getting a really good steel here. But action really good, super smooth, and this very long slot for deployment works beautifully for anywhere you place your fingers or your hands, or your thumb. Sorry, not your hands, but your fingers or your thumb. You can deploy the blade beautifully. So thumb flick works great, and reverse flick works great. I've learned if you use it at the bottom section of the slot, it fires right out. But really, really great acoustics. Get that for you guys on camera. And yeah, just overall really love this thing. If they do another drop, I will do my best to mention or let you guys know in the future. But if they ever do, I highly recommend it. Overall, really, really awesome design. And I think I covered everything. I do love the texture on the button. That's one thing that I really do like. It kind of lets you know where you are. In case you feel the pivot, you can definitely feel the texture on this. You know, if you're in the dark or something, but I do love that it has that texture. So you get that extra grip when you're pushing the button. And let's take this thing apart, because I will be anodizing the scales and pocket clip. Possibly do a custom show side scale and a custom pocket clip. But let's get my T8 bit driver here. And then I do have a magnet here in case I need to pull out the steel washers that the bearings are riding on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to close the blade here. I don't have to take well, I kind of do have to take the pocket clip off because it goes into the, I'm sure there's a barrel spacer back here, but we're going to do that. So all T8, which I love. So everything is T8 on this pocket knife, which is a huge plus, I'd say, in the knife community. I know a lot of people appreciate that. And it's something I don't really look for in a knife. I mean, if it has it, great. But if it doesn't have it, it's not a deal breaker for me. So actually, let's keep it closed. It is nice to just have one bit in your bit driver so you're not all over the place looking for bits. And I'm going to open it now. I can already feel the spring wanting to push the scale off. Okay, that actually came off surprisingly easy, so that's very nice. And here you can see the heavily milled pockets on the underside. And you guys can see that you have a pressed stop pin in the blade here. Let me just take the blade off. So you have that pressed pin on the inside. And that's what rides in this track. Sorry, that's what rides in this track here. Basically creating a closed position stop and then an open position stop. So really, really cool. And there's those steel washers. And I'm kind of glad I took it apart because there is a little bit of dust in there. Now I did use this on my little trip that I took to Utah for Blade Show West. So it's more than likely it's a me with the dirt, but there's your back spacer, and you have your two barrel spacers here. I'm just going to push out the pivot, but you do have your barrel spacers here that hold in the body screws. So I think I'm just going to leave those in, and then here is your button blacked out with that texture, and then you have a spring. And there's actually quite a bit of pressure on that spring. Maybe that's why the action is so good. So we have ceramic brass caged bearings. I don't know, I can think of it. So that's really nice. I'm sure some skiffs would be an upgrade. Maybe I'll look into that here in the near future. But that's pretty much it. You can see the milled out hole for the button, and I do like that there's a rim, a slight rim on the edge of the button. And then on the inside, you can see there is, you know what, let me grab my flashlight. I want you guys to see this really quick. But you can see that edge, there it is. See that edge right there. I'll try to circle it on screen so you can see it. But what's nice about that is it keeps, let's say the button, I wouldn't say fails, but it doesn't allow the button to pop out of the actual, where the button lays. So you can see right here, I can push it and it's not going to go further out. I know some companies don't do that, which is a little strange. I mean, you really don't want that button to pop out, but they thought about that. So very well done. Again, heavily milled to lighten this thing up. And we have our steel washers here. And they are a little gunked up, so I am going to clean. I'm going to clean as I go here. But let me know down below if you guys picked one of these up and what do you guys think about it. I just like hearing from you guys. I don't know everything about knives, so it's always nice to get help from the community. So I'm going to clean this one too. But what's nice about that, really, I think that's what adds to that really great detent, if you would even call that on a plunge lock. But I think that really high tension spring adds to the detent-like feeling before you deploy the blade. So I'd say it's a huge plus. And maybe there is something to that. I'll have to disassemble a Civivi just to see if that's the case too with them. Because I've never had a Civivi fail on me. Also, let me know in the comments below if you guys have had a plunge lock fail on you. Because I don't think I'm the only one that's had one fail. I'm pretty sure other ones exist out there, or other failures exist. I wish that wasn't the case, but the beauty of button locks now is a lot of companies are doing the top liner lock, which I think is awesome. I know everybody, or I'd say like 95% of the knife community loves top liner locks because you get the, sorry, I'm just gonna blow off that material, that gunk, but I know 95% of the community likes the top liner lock because of the strength. I know I actually just asked a lot of questions at Blade Show West behind the concept table. Since Concept just did the top liner lock Fenrir, which I have coming soon, it'll be on the way. But a lot of people told me that they love the liner lock because you get the pleasure of pushing the button on, similar to a plunge lock, but you get the strength of a liner lock, which I think is awesome, and I'm glad a lot of companies are going that route. And I have a little bit of ODC. I like to clean. I like to clean everything. I mean, you can see why. I mean, it's pretty gunked up. So, again, I'm not saying a Purvis is behind this, because again, I did carry this the whole time at the show, and I did go hiking with it and stuff. So, probably just me, but it's always good to take your knives apart, see how they work, and don't worry about warranty. I think that's silly. As long as you're careful, and if a part breaks on itself while you're taking it apart, like let's say a spring break, like an Omega spring, right? Then I think companies should just send it out, or just put it in the box like Concept does with their Omega springs. I think that's really nice. But yeah, I just want to clean this bad boy up a little bit. And another reason I took it apart is because I wanted to see what it's going to take to create a custom show side scale, or just anodize it. And one thing I'm noticing is there is a steel cup or insert where the button spring sits. So I don't know if you guys have ever anodized anything, but if you do anodize titanium and there's steel touching, it creates bubbles and it doesn't anodize properly around the titanium or around the steel, causing the titanium around the steel to look a little funky when you anodize it. So that's something I'm going to have to figure out if I just anodize this. And if I do anodize it, I'd like to do either a really nice purple, like a dark purple, stone washed, or like a high toxic green, or if I can get like a darker zombie green. I'm still experimenting with anodizing. I'm learning a lot with anodizing, so. And I will probably do another video of what not to do, because I've done some things while anodizing that I shouldn't have done, but that'll be in a later video. But yeah, it's a very interesting process, and you got to know your stuff, and you got to be very clean, which I try to be when I am anodizing titanium, because yeah, very sensitive stuff. And I'm just going to clean everything because I have some extra oil, or I'm going to lube everything back up. And one way I like to clean the screw, especially with the threaded end, is I like to just put it in the cloth here. Then I'll take my bit driver and I'll just turn it to really clean up that gunk. You guys can see, so pretty nasty there. Could possibly just be the coating, but again, always good to go through your stuff. I think the button's fine. I'll clean it up a little bit, I guess. I just want to make sure not to put the spring in wrong. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it, but better just put it in the way it comes out. But I'm just making sure there's no residue, because I did go to the salt flats and I didn't throw it in the sand or anything, but I just felt like there was some grit in there, so that's why I took it apart, and also doing this video. So basically just wanted to show you guys what's going on the inside as well. And this is going to go in like this. So very simple setup. I really like how easy that came apart. You guys saw how easily it came apart. And this is kind of how I clean my knives. I don't really have a certain method. I just make sure everything's clean, because sand and pocket lint can get in everything, and you guys know how that goes. I might have to upgrade these bearings. The knife is super smooth. There's no issue with the action or the bearings, but I just think it would be just a little bit better with some skiffs in here. So I think everything's cleaned. Yeah, I got the blade. I got all the gunk out of the bearings, pockets, cleaned up the steel washers. And yeah, just quickly I want to give you guys another close look at the inside. Again, very well done. So what I'm going to do is, so we took off the pocket clip side first. So hopefully this goes together smoothly. So put the button in first. Then we're going to put one steel washer in, and I just forgot the pivot. Obviously, the first thing you want to put in is the pivot. So, oh, really quick, there is a D shape on the show side, so that really locks in that pivot, which is nice. I know a lot of people want that in knives. I don't mind if it's 2 screws or a bit driver bit on the screw side of the pivot and then on the pivot itself. So using two bits to take it out. I don't mind it, but this is a lot better to just have a D shape. And I know why they do the D shape, or why they don't do the D shape, because they just want it to be as much contact on the inside of the tang, basically where the pivot rides through. They want it to be a full cylinder. From my understanding, it doesn't allow up and down or wiggle, just that little bit of space on the D shape. I've never really felt an issue, but I'm assuming that's why they do the full circle or the full cylindrical pivot, so you don't have slop in it. I don't know if that is the case. You guys let me know down below if that is the case. That just makes sense to me. But I'm going to use some of the KPL 15 weight pivot lube. I used to just use gun oil for my blades, but I bought this, and I mean, you guys can see I've used this for a while, and I barely even took any of that oil out of there. I haven't used up as much. So just a couple. I like to do 3 dabs, and then I actually like to put a little bit on the pivot. So I'll just take this and kind of run it up and down. And I don't think there's any way you can over oil something. I'll put it on the spring too. I mean, I guess you could over oil it, because if you do, you'll see it ooze out of the pivot, which is easily wiped up. So I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, so that spring is, or the blade is magnetic, but might have to raise it up just a bit to go over it. Maybe it's in already. Okay, I think we're good, but we'll find out. So a little bit more oil for the bearings. Now I always get a lot of feedback or comments of why do I even oil bearings, because bearings are bearings, they're smooth. Honestly, I just, with or without it, I think it's fine, but I just like to add oil. I think it glides better on the bearings, but you know, everybody has their own way of doing things. I think either way you go, you're fine. Oil or no oil on your bearings, but I think it's safe either way. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so we have, I'm just making sure the spring goes in that pocket and everything's snapped into place. I mean, if it goes together that easily, this is probably the easiest button lock, plunge lock knife that I've ever taken apart and reassembled. So if that's it, I will be very, very surprised. No need to get crazy, and well, let's just try it right now. Oh yeah. Oh, a lot smoother. I could definitely feel the grit earlier before I disassembled it, so again, that's one of the reasons why I took it apart. And let's see here. So we'll put the pocket clip in. What's nice is there is a little pocket that the pocket clip sits into, keeping it from swaying side to side, so that's really nice. Again, very simple design, but very tastefully done. And again, just thought that this was a really cool and well executed plunge lock knife. And another reason I bought this was because Tri-State UDC did a video on it for the first drop, or the first pre-order, but there wasn't enough pre-orders, and Purvis didn't want to do it again. But I guess after Tri-State's video, everybody wanted it, so they brought it back, or Purvis brought it back. So really glad they did, because this is a knife that I would highly recommend, because it's just that good. So no blade play, super smooth, dead center. See right there, perfectly centered, which is hard to do with a button lock, I'd say, or button lock, plunge lock style knife. But very smooth. I don't feel any more grit. And we're getting a new sound here. We're getting a ting. Interesting. You guys hearing that? Wow, okay, so maybe I didn't notice that before, but there's actually a ting on this knife. So it sings. Did not expect that. So Maybe I wasn't paying attention earlier, but I love the knife even more now. So that's really nice. I hope it's coming across on the camera. I'm trying to get it for you guys. Yeah, that's nice. Very, very nice singing sound to it. But even closing, it's got a very, it's almost like a hollow sound. But yeah, there it is, you guys. The Primordial from A. Purvis Blades. If you guys are interested, I know they have a few left on their website, so I'll leave a link down below in the description. You can pick one up. I think they have different variations too, but there it is. Let me know down below what you guys think of this thing, and it just sang again. So very, very well executed in my book. And again, let me know if you guys picked one of these up. Curious to hear your thoughts. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. And I will see you guys on the next one.